Good afternoon and welcome to the City Club of Cleveland. My name is Paul Harris and I am president of the City Club's Board of Directors. I am pleased to introduce today's speaker, Sharon Lettman-Hicks, Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the National Black Justice Coalition. As stated at its website, the Coalition is a civil rights organization dedicated to empowering black lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. The website further states that the Coalition's mission is to eradicate racism and homophobia. Ms. Lettman-Hicks assumed the leadership position with the Coalition in October 2009. This was a natural progression in her lifelong journey to effectuate social change. After attending Florida A&M University, she served as Executive Director of the Florida Student Association, a statewide advocacy organization for Florida's universities. Ms. Lettman-Hicks thereafter established a public affairs group that specialized in communications, public and community relations, political strategy, and events management. While continuing her public affairs work, she joined the Florida Association of Counties, where she served in multiple capacities before returning to her public affairs business on a full-time basis. In 2000, Ms. Lettman-Hicks was the chief administrator for the March on Tallahassee, a state capitol demonstration in response to an attempt to end affirmative action by executive order in Florida. And after the march, she organized and administered a massive Get Out the Vote campaign in Florida. In 2002, Ms. Lettman-Hicks served as campaign manager for a successful Florida ballot initiative to reduce classroom size. Before joining the Coalition, Ms. Lettman-Hicks served for 8 years with People for the American Way and the People for the American Way Foundation, where her responsibilities included overseeing the institution's leadership programs and engagement with supporters and investors, key constituencies, and coalition allies, roles which required that she orchestrate strategic partnerships and build grassroots activism. By way of example, in 2004 and 2006, she served as the National Director for the Election Protection Campaign, which played a key role in 17 states and mobilized more than 25,000 volunteers. She has had the opportunity to express her views on broadcast and in print media, including CNN, NPR, The Washington Post, and The Wall Street Journal. She is active in local, state, and natural leadership development efforts and serves on the board of directors for the National Equity Center, a nonpartisan organization that works to promote diversity and democratic values. So there's no question that this is a leader who practices and pursues what she believes. As her coalition board chair said upon her appointment, Sharon Lettman, I think that was before Hicks, has a stellar track record in social justice and knows how to unite diverse interests to benefit the greater good. I am pleased to present on behalf of the City Club of Cleveland, Sharon Lettman-Hicks, Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer for the National Black Justice Coalition.
Paul, thank you so much. It is truly an honor to be here today. Before I really get into my remarks, I have to take a point of personal privilege. I'm sitting before someone that's known me longer than anyone else in this room, and that's Congresswoman Marcia Fudge. She's a former national president of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and I'm so honored to be here before you, as she knew me when I was a scruffy little kid with a loud voice. And I'm humbled that two of my board members, one local, Leslie Huff, and one all the way from Detroit, Michelle Brown, has come in today to be with us. And I thank you so much for my board support. And last but not least, in the true spirit of partnership, my husband, Master Sergeant Alvin Bernard Hicks, is here with us this afternoon, and I thank you for taking this journey with me. Many ask me, why did I take this journey to be an advocate for gay rights? I constantly get the question, why do I do this work? Why gay rights, Sharon? Don't you have another cause where you can dedicate your energy? What made you decide this issue was worth all your attention? How can you make gay rights your life work, your career? These questions show me the disconnect of folks who say they're about civil rights, say they understand that this country and world is filled with oppression and inequality, yet can ask me, why this body of work? All my life, I have been taught the sacrifices of our ancestors, the struggles of Black America to get us the freedoms and independence that we would now take for granted. The struggles to have basic rights like the right to a quality education and the right to vote. These historical challenges were appreciated stories to me, the stories that I can cherish knowing the sacrifice that folks who looked like me went through to ensure my freedom while they fought for equality for themselves and the future generations who are now benefiting from their struggles, their sacrifice, their leadership. My life work over the past 20 years has been about being a modern-day freedom fighter. Everything from student rights and higher education down in my home state of Florida to states' rights with home rule and elections as I lived through the debacle of 2000, to voting rights that we saw miraculously questioned across this country from 2000 to, and I was here in Ground Zero in 2006 in Cleveland, Ohio. And I lived through 10 years of the Bush era, from Jeb Bush to W. But I walked in the shoes of my shero, Barbara Jordan, who taught me that democracy is not a spectator sport. And I had the good fortune to work for 8 years under the leadership and visionary creativity of Norman Lear, the great creator of All in the Family, Good Times, The Jeffersons. And as he's still walking around, raising up sand, when he took me under his wing, when I called him that National Talent Scout, as I thought I was just doing the work I was supposed to do on the ground in Florida, in Tallahassee, for the 18 years that I lived there. And as the national scene swooped down on Florida in 2000 to say, what is going on? We just thought it was just another day of democracy that we had to uphold. We learned it as student organizers. We did what we needed to do. We were under assault in our state government. But to us, it was just another challenge. It was just something that we were supposed to do. And we didn't realize when all of America's eyes are on you what that really means. So in many ways, I feel very blessed and fortunate because I do believe I was discovered. But I was just discovered for doing the work of ordinary people at an extraordinary time in our democracy. And in that walk, to be under a tutelage of somebody like Norman Lear, there's never an ordinary day, because it's always wondering what a great mind like that would teach you. And as he took me under his wing to really educate me on the separation of church and state and what religious exploitation looks like and how our government is so fragile as to why things like the separation of church and state mattered, especially when it comes to freedom and democracy, and not allowing anyone's interpretation of what they feel is right and good, especially in the name of the Lord, and then using it to exasperate an agenda that oftentimes is not as genuine as your faith. And then to really take it to the next step, to get the education of what free speech is about. And as we all are watching it play out, that freedom of speech does not mean that it's free speech without consequence. So as we all live through the unique modern day challenges of IMUS show. And Norman, as we're a free speech organization, we weren't allowed to go out on that particular issue. And he called us and he just blasted us. What do you mean you're not going out of it? We're like, Norman, this is a free speech issue. No. It's a free speech issue if your speech is free. He is a brand of a network. And as a network executive, that type of speech is costly to me. He's got to go. So as we struggle, and to me, I was growing up in this society, I was like, wow, what a unique capitalistic view.